Buongiorno, everybody. So today, here in Dorina's kitchen, we are going to make some stuffed mushrooms. Now, I've made stuffed mushrooms before, and that's the way I learned how to make them from my aunt at our family restaurant. This is another recipe. It's a different one. All right, so we are making a sausage stuffed mushroom. Now, I've had sausage stuffed mushrooms before, and it's 90% sausage, and it's just, even though they break it up and everything, it's still just as always this hard knot inside of a soft mushroom. I make mine a little different, so I'm going to show you what I do. So we are going to start with just taking the sausage out of the casing. So I'm just doing a quick slice down the skin there and just pulling it off. Now, you know, I see these recipes, it's so funny. They say, oh, cut it up. You don't need to cut it up, it's a smoosh already. All right, so we will cut it up with our fingers as we go. And we are done. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this up, I'm gonna throw it in the well, it's not a frying pan, it's a pot. Hold on, let's get this on. Oops. I'm trying to turn it on without touching it with my sausage fingers. I'm gonna put a smidge of olive oil on the bottom, even though the sausage is gonna make some juice. So I'm just gonna, just a little, to get it started, you know. And I'm just gonna break this up and just throw it in little pieces in the bottom. We're gonna stir it up and it's gonna be all broken up when we're done, just like any other kind of ground meat. This is not one of those recipes that you have exact measurements for, because, you know, you get the mushrooms, sometimes there's 5 in a pack, sometimes there's 12, just depends on how big they are. So, and same, you know, I'm using 5 links of sausage. Whatever's left over, like I said, can still be used for something else, and that's how you do home cooking. Okay, simple. We've got the sausage going. I'm going to use, I could use a wooden spoon, or I can use my handy dandy Pampered Chef mix and chop, they call it, because you just take this little star tip shaped thing and you just twist and it breaks everything up. So nice. But if you don't have one, you can still use a flat wooden spoon, or any wooden spoon. Okay, I'm going to turn it down a little. I don't want it to totally cook up yet. So, mushrooms in Italian, funghi. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take, now you can fill great big giant mushrooms if you want. You know, this is almost a palm of my hand. And it's up to you. Personally, I love mushrooms, but I don't like a big blob of mushroom. So I like to fill, I know it sounds weird, I like to fill the small ones. I mentioned this when I made my other stuffed mushrooms. I will even, let me take the stem off here. I will even take these little ones. These are pretty small, so I'll probably just stuff them. But sometimes if they're big and I don't have any small ones, I will quarter them, and I will just make the stuffing kind of like a ball around the little piece of mushroom, because I put some mushroom in my stuffing, not everybody does. So anyway, we're gonna start with taking the stems off. I've already cleaned these. You know, to clean them, to get the dirt off, take a nice dry rag. If they're really scungy dirty, my word, rinse them very quickly and pat them dry very quickly, because mushrooms are like sponges and they will suck up the water, and you don't want that. You want them to be very dry. So see, the stems are going to be part of our stuffing. Let me give this a quick stir. All right, I'm going to turn that off for a minute. It's 3/4 cooked, but I want it to cook with the mushrooms. Now, I have these other ones here. So what I will do is take this big one and I'll cut it in half, or I'll cut it in quarters. So it's kind of like a little triangular piece. So, and I'll always throw in an extra one just in case, because I can guarantee you that once I actually make these, they're going to end up taking up less space than I say here, so that I'm going to have room to make more. And I'll be sad that I don't have any more mushroom caps, so I always leave a couple extra out. And if I don't use them, I can always use them for something else later. So we're going to set these in front of us here, because we don't need those quite yet. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to take these stems. Now you can cut them any which way you want. You can take them and cut them into little slivers. But see, I like my stuff. I mean, you can do this too. I mean, you know, you can have little chunks, but I like them smaller. You don't have to do it quite, but see how nice, and they're still small pieces, but they're not fine like I do the garlic when you've seen me do the garlic. There's no big giant chunks in here. Oh, there's two. I'm just gonna throw this now into the mushrooms. Into the throw them into the mushrooms. Throw the mushrooms into the sausage. Actually, I'm just gonna do this. So first I'm gonna do all the stems because that might be enough, but we shall see. I don't think so, because I like it more mushroomy. So the mushrooms, when you cook the mushrooms in the mushrooms, the stuffing, it softens the stuffing. We're gonna throw in a little bit of breadcrumbs. It's gonna be really nice. Oh, we got lots of stems. This is good. There's a mushroom or two in that pile too. And you know what? Mushrooms, if you have extra, which are cheaper than meat, is a great way to stretch it. So if you want to make a few, you know, if you're thinking, I'm not sure if this is enough, add just a few more mushrooms and it'll give you a couple of more stuffed ones in the end. And, you know, you spread it, you stretch it. Spread the love. Scrape it into the cup and dump it in. Now, the mushrooms are going to make some nice liquid. Now, another thing I like to put in, and I could have done it already, but I really like a little bit of onion in mine. A little bit of onion and a little bit of, if you want, a little bit of celery. It just makes a difference in the flavor. So I'm just going to chop some of that up right now. Onions just, you know, they're such a great flavor giver, and they make, you know, they add a sweetness. If you do it right, they add a sweetness to it. All right, so we're going to cut this into little pieces. All right, now, normally I would do the onions first so that they get nice and soft. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a little cheat. I'm gonna take my little teeny pan out, put a little teeny oil in it. This is how you do things when you want to do something different. You forgot to do something, you change your mind, it's always fixable. You know, people always say, oh my God, I forgot to put the onions in, now they're gonna be hard and crispy and I want them soft and mushy. Well, this is how you do it. So I'm just gonna stick these on another burner, let them cook up. When they get soft, I'll throw them in. Make sure this is all nice and chopped. Make sure that the sausage and the mushrooms, and they're making a little bit of liquid, the mushrooms. But what I'm gonna do is give them a little bit more. This is great because you really don't want any big chunks of sausage. You really want it broken up nice so it's really smooth and nice stuffing. But I have here some Asiago, which I bought a great big giant chunk of. Asiago cheese is a really nice cheese. This is good for just nibbling on. It's also good for putting inside of things. So once this is done, we let it cool off a little bit. And then we're gonna take some little cubes, which we're gonna cut up. So good. I think I'm just gonna throw a little more olive oil in here. Sometimes I'll put some butter in, but I'm trying to be a little healthier, so we're gonna do olive oil. It gives it some more liquid. It gives it some more flavor. You can smell the sausage and you can smell the mushrooms. So what I'm gonna do here is cut these into little teeny, cut them into little strips. And then I'm gonna cut them into little teeny weeny pieces, cubes, whatever you wanna call it. When the sausage mixture is done cooking, I'm gonna let it cool for a minute. And just before we start stuffing everything, I'm gonna mix some of these little cubes of cheese in. It just adds a nice little bite of cheese. They're ready to roll. Yeah, I probably didn't need that other piece, but oh no, I'm gonna have to eat it. Okay. Oh, and one more thing. I'm gonna throw in one clove of garlic. Because, you know, what's anything without garlic? We're just doing one. Now, you got choices. You can throw this in big and pick it out, or you can cut it up into little teeny pieces. I could use my, you know, my garlic press or I can just do this. I like the garlic, but it is very, very, very common in Italy to throw in a whole or just cut in half piece of garlic into whatever you're making, into the oil, into the sauce, whatever. Let it flavor the oil. The oil spreads throughout and flavors everything else with your garlicky oil. And then they take it out. But I really like it, and I know it's very good for you. But you don't need 10 cloves of it. So I'm gonna throw these in now that the onions are almost done. I'm gonna throw them in with the onions so that they can cook in that and soften up a little and mellow out their flavor. Here's a little more oil. And there's no problem with a little extra oil in this stuff because that's your glue. Sometimes I'll even put a little bit of celery or a little bit of fennel. Ooh, little fennel would be so, let's do that today. Because you know, I just happen to have this one little teeny head of fennel. Oh, I'm so excited. In my bread bag, you know, because it's long, so it holds the fennel fronds. Take that end off. Oh my God, this is gonna be so good. Actually, maybe I'll just do some of this part. So you can use the stems, they taste just like the fennel. All right, so this is an add-on. This isn't in my normal recipe. Like I said, usually I'll put in some celery a lot of times. Sometimes, not all the time, you know, whatever. It's just fun. In my regular, my plain stuffed mushrooms, I do saute those with the, so I cut them really small so that they'll cook really quickly here with the onions. The onions are almost done. We'll just throw a little of that fennel in there. Mmm, yum. Okay. Now we're gonna just dump it in to our sausage mixture. Turn that back burner off that way. And we are going to mix this all around. As I'm flinging pieces of celery around, or fennel. Okay. Back on low. Now we're gonna put in the last few really important ingredients. Let's move that over there. Okay, we're gonna put in a handful, and a handful is a measurement. Okay, so don't question it. A good handful of grated cheese. And a couple little thumb pulls. And then what we're gonna do, so you've got this really moist stuff here. We're gonna throw in some breadcrumbs to kind of pull it all together. But before I do that, really quick, I'm gonna throw in a little bit of rosemary. I'm just gonna kind of chop it up here. Rosemary is really good in a sausage. Now we're just going to put in some breadcrumbs to make them soak up just enough so that it becomes, you know, a mixture that you can mold. So you want to kind of dry it up a little bit now. Still a little wet. Another hand. Now, the reason I'm taking breadcrumbs out of a bag is because I made some rolls this past week and they got left out and they got hard. So I chopped them up and made breadcrumbs. And so this is breadcrumbs from my own homemade organic flour bread. Can't beat that. It's half white, half whole wheat. And what I do is I put them in a bag and I keep them in the freezer. And they just are just right. Another little bit. I don't go too much at once because you don't want to over dry it. You don't want them to be too bready, but just enough to soak up what's left. Now, I have not seasoned it, so I am going to put some pepper because I like black pepper. Now, you can put regular salt. You pay attention because we did put in a handful of cheese, but I'm going to use some of my rosemary. It's got rosemary lemon. I'm just going to put in about, it's probably a teaspoon. It was not a tablespoon. Another flavor profile you can mix in with this, which goes really, really good with sausage, is truffle. This is truffle salt. Oh my goodness, this is real truffle salt. You can tell the difference between real truffles and that fake truffle smell that is horrible. It's once you get to know it. So I may sprinkle a little of this on some of them. Okay, I'm going to put some in here just to start cooling off. I'm going to spread it out because it'll cool off faster that way. It doesn't have to be cold. I like to mix the cheese in when it's cooled off a little bit so that they kind of stay like little blobs. Little blobs of cheese. All right, and now we're going to bring these up here, and I'm going to show you how I go around the mushroom. Now what I'm going to do though right now, hold on. Whoops. If by chance you have some cool little ceramic cookable dishes, what's really, really cute if you're having company is you put 4 stuffed mushrooms in here, or 3 depending how big you make them. But isn't that cute? And then you just put these in the oven and you put them on, you can bake them or you can put them on broil just for a little bit, because this is cooked already. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to taste it right in front of you. That's good. Okay. It's just the right amount of salt. I'm glad I didn't add any extra. That's just right. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to mix in some of these. It's already cooling off. Just going to put in just a little, not too many. Oops. I don't even know why I'm doing this. I'm going to be putting my hands in here in a minute. And you can see there's little pieces of cheese in there. So we're just going to take this nice filling and we're going to make it a ball around the mushroom. Now there's one giant piece that didn't want to stick. And now you have this big, beautiful mushroom ball. So we're going to put that in there. Made it a little too big. Now, I will tell you this. My regular stuffed mushrooms stay together a lot better. The sausage doesn't like to stay as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this really cute little thingy here and I'm going to throw it in the oven. You have 2 options here. You can sprinkle a little more cheese on top. Or you can do what I like to sometimes do. Wait a minute, we're going to take this off of bake. We're going to put it on broil, and we're going to hit start. This is only going to take a few minutes. So anyway, sometimes though, with my other stuffed mushrooms, and I will do it with these too, but always with my other ones, sometimes I'll put cheese on top, but other times I will make a little bechamel and make kind of a thin bechamel, and I will drizzle it on top. And it is so nice, because it adds some moisture to it all. So, and it is up to you how much you want to cook them. You want to bake them for a few minutes so that the mushroom on the bottom gets a little softer. They will still soften under the broiler. You just need to make sure that you're paying attention, that you and I both know right now the broiler's on. Now, they may not seem like they're staying together really well, but once they cook, so you just got to do it really careful. And as they cook, then it all kind of glues together, especially with the cheese in there. Oh yeah. Those are nice. Almost ready. So I'm gonna actually turn it back to the bake and let them bake for a minute, but the cheese on top is getting just a little teeny weeny bit golden and it's really nice. So if you want to make some bechamel sauce, just mix just enough for the mushrooms. You don't need to make a big batch. So 3 tablespoons of butter, 3 tablespoons of flour, and then you put in like about 1 3/4 cups of milk. If it's too dry, just add another teaspoon of milk, and then you just take it while it's warm and you drizzle it over the top. And you can do that before or after you put them in the oven, but honestly, I like it if it's warm. I like it drizzled on after because I don't want that to have a crust on it. I want those to have a crust, and then you put the little white sauce on top. It's so nice. So, all right, let's get these babies out. Look how cute they are. I'm gonna bring them up close so you can see. I just kind of smushed one. But anyway, you can see they've got a nice little crust on top. You can see the little bit of cheese has, crisped up a little bit and gotten golden. And there we have our mushroom stuffed our sausage stuffed mushroom caps. This is a nice antipasto. This is also, you can use this as a second if you want. There's meat in it. You can use this, bring out the stuffed mushrooms after you've had your first course as a second course, but it is really a contorno. Contorno means a side dish. So it's really yummy. So I hope you enjoy them. Have a wonderful day. And please don't forget that we are here to get you back to the table. So that is really, really important. So make sure that you like and follow Dorina's Kitchen because we are always bringing you to the table. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, also under Dorina's Kitchen. And please go to dorinaskitchen.com and subscribe to the website. Join the group because we are una familia and I want you all to be part of it. So I never want to lose touch with you all because I'm not going anywhere. So have a buona giornata. Mwah. Ciao, everybody.